Hey, say it's a merry way day, up the way, your way. Sun is up, happy, happy, happy day. Love, 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 way.
Hello there, it's Merrie Lynn Ross. You're on the Beverly Hills Shaman and Tag Hollywood. Well, I can't wait for you to see the surprises that we have, and we're going to tell you where you can see Yes, Virginia. And you're going to see how they developed such a brilliant performance. Our writer wrote an amazing script.
Oh my gosh, this play, Yes, Virginia. I mean, we end up with yes. I am stunned at every beat you girls hit. Mindy.
Yes.
How long were the rehearsals? I heard it was a month. Is that true?
Yeah, it was probably about a month. We always seem to, before a weekend show, we get together and we'll do one rehearsal just with lines to keep it in our brain and stuff, so it doesn't like ever stop.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was your preparation working this show? Like when you went home or whatever?
Better, just at rehearsing, just constantly doing it over and over and over again. And this one certainly was, she was quicker to get to it and learn it, so I always felt like I was about 5 paces behind. I wish I had like a perfect preparation, but it's like whatever works. I don't know, because I was trying to learn this stuff and according to the blocking. That helped me remember what comes next.
Mm-hmm. There were lots of wonderful transitions in this, from I want her to leave to oh my goodness, I ratted her out, all the different beats. That kind of helps in the levels for you when you're working, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean it's nice to have the transitions, and that's obviously when you're rehearsing and you have that time given. Every time we do a show, we find a little something different. So there's always, you have to make it fresh without completely, creating something entirely new, unless our director, Stan Zimmerman, gives us a note and says, you know what, that's not working, or don't do that. And because it's a new play, we can, still explore all of that.
You heard the question. What about this rehearsal time, and also your preparation when you're away from the rehearsal?
When I'm away from the rehearsals, my preparation time is the same thing, repetition. I have to read the script. So the hardest part for me really is, it's finding, trying to remember my lines, but I also need to remember a portion of her lines so that I know that the communication, so that I can begin to hear the communication between us. And I can hear her voice because we've been in rehearsals, so I just let her voice play those words. It came to life when we were on our set. Our initial rehearsals, we were in a different space. And
we were at Stan Zimmerman's house.
His house. But it was great because he helped us to begin to flesh out the characters, and that was what that was about, the beginning of it. But then once he brought us into this space and his vision of it, it all came to life, and it all just felt very real.
Well, and about the age, playing a little older than you are.
You know what, I've always played a little older than I am.
And then you had all the dancing and wonderful things that kept, but you're still in good shape, girl. You look great.
I was but yeah, I do get out of breath. I think it's just the adrenaline, doing the show, thinking of a lot of things. So it takes me a moment to come up for breath before I can, go on. But it's great because it's part of, who she is.
I think it's refreshing that maybe a word or two does get changed because it has such a natural tone to it. And for...
I beg to differ.
Bring that boy in. Come in, we'll make room.
We're making room for Stan.
See, now that you heard them speaking behind your back, here we are face to face. So casting is the name of the game, too.
It is.
So how did you discover these two together?
Well, I discovered them separately. Eillia and I go way back to actually when I was just graduating NYU, and she had just come to New York and just landed a part on a Broadway show. You know how that happens. And I was working in casting, and I called her in for something, and we had an instant bang, although she would do the part because every other word was a cuss word.
And I was still young then. I was still young then.
So it's funny that I'm making her now.
Now he makes me curse now.
Well, I love how secretly this curse comes
Yeah.
out. This was
Gotta
so
be pushed out.
choreographed.
And Mindy, I had the good fortune, the first play I ever directed, a casting director, Geraldine Flood, said, "Oh, Mindy Sterling is looking to do a play." I'm like, "Really? She's going to do like a little play in this little tiny theater?" And she said yes, and it was like, done.
Bingo.
And then, so this is the fourth play we've done together, and we also did a web series called Sex and Execs, which is now streaming.
I love it. What would you like to share with a younger actor that might be watching us today?
Basically listen. I mean, the beauty about Mindy and I when we're working together is we're listening to each other, because sometimes it's not like I get all the lines perfect, trust me. We know, both of us, we know improv. It's like her jewel. I mean, I'm learning even from her as we do the work and allow ourselves to just improv on things that we're doing. But listening, because if you're stuck with what the lines are and you're not listening, the person might say something totally different if they ask the question differently or ask another question, but you do your line that you've been remembering, you're no longer communicating because you're just memorizing lines. But if you listen to the actor that you're playing opposite of, and then when it becomes like dealing with monologues, you have to be in that moment. You have to live the moment. You have to see everything that you're describing. If you don't see it, your audience can't see it.
And that's improv too.
Yes.
You know, I mean, when you're improvising, it's really the same thing. You know, you're committing to something, and in improv, you have to listen because there is no, you know, what beat is next.
Right.
So you guys are building on top of one another, which is exactly what we're doing here. And this is such a lovely story that you know, we embrace and love every part of the journey that these two people are going on.
Yes.
It's magnificent because you have the humor and the depth is there.
That's
And the
what I love.
growth of a relationship.
Yes.
And
Yes.
sharing the pain. And I tear up on the one line when you have to say, Mindy,
Yeah.
forgive me.
Yeah.
Those kind of beats in the comedy, mixing that is powerful. That's in the writing, but it's also in, it's in the writing.
It's in the writing.
But it's brilliantly in the performance. And thank you to the director. The audience, as you saw at the end, they're on their feet
I missed it. I was running around back there. I'm in the hallway and I'm
You wanted to know what happened, and we said, well, I think they
heard
wanted us,
applause,
yes.
And I was like, I can't be still applauding for
Oh,
the
yeah.
show. So, it was
Of
a very
course.
Sweet audience.
We
Yeah,
know
very
on
nice.
Broadway we come back, baby. We do this. And this is Broadway, off Broadway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever we want to call it, it is. Is there anything you would like to say, by the way, Stan, to a young aspiring writer or who may become a director?
Yes.
What would you like to
Someone always says, write what you know, but just write from your heart. And, you know, whether it's comedy or drama, that's always the purest. And just keep writing and do it anywhere you can. I mean, whether it's your living room or a tiny little theater on Santa Monica Boulevard, and just get it on its feet and it will naturally evolve into what it's meant to be. So right now you only saw very little baby of this play, and who knows where it's going to go. But
I really know that I can vision. I don't know exactly where to land.
I want to see it on Broadway, I want a movie, and I want a TV show. But I
In
think,
any order.
I think the world will tell us, but I think it's right
It's
now.
so
with
good,
many
and they're-
people dealing with aging and aging parents and us ourselves aging. I think it's a great way to discuss it in a comical yet really serious way as well. So
And that one of my big questions is, how did you learn comedy? What did you do? Or I know you had the funny bone, but how did you develop it?
I think it's from being just an odd-looking child and looking at the world in a peculiar way. And just I always thought funny. My father, the one good thing he did, well, besides helping me be born, he said that I look at life through rose-colored glasses. And one day he brought me a pair of purple glasses.
Really?
And I was like, what does that mean? And he luckily saw that in me, that I just had a positive attitude on life and the way I saw the world, even as a young child. And so encouraged, you know, my mother really got me to NYU and acting and all of that. But
You were doing some acting.
I started in acting, and
Yeah.
I got just too nervous to act. And
he was a dancer.
I'm a dancer with the
Dancer.
Joffrey Ballet. I studied with them.
But we
I
don't
was
count that, of course.
I always was in my basement coming up with plays, and I would drag neighbor kids into doing them, and then I would drag them into presenting them at school. So I'm basically still doing the same thing I've been doing since I was
Nothing
a child.
changed.
Now I just drag people. So this is like my basement.
I want to thank all of you, one for allowing me to watch you perform this brilliant.
Oh my God.
I don't know what it
And as an audience, yay, a standing ovation.
yes.
2 thumbs up and a couple toes. Mwah. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was very nice of you. Good questions, too.
Yay.
Hey, you say it's a merry way day, uplift way your way. Sun is up, happy, happy, happy day. Love, love, love way.